Hey everyone, it's Sheena LaShay, and today's video is a vlog entry for the May Pole Dance Bloggers Blog Hop. There's about almost 100 of us pole dancers who have blogs specifically geared towards pole dancing. And once a month, we all pick a topic, and on each of our own blogs, we write about it. This month's theme is actually questions. We get asked tons of questions when people find out we're pole dancers, and we have questions for each other. So we are going to be answering those, and I wanted to do a video. How long have you been pole dancing? About 3 years now. What's your favorite song to pole dance to? That would have to be Fight by Wino, Counting Bodies Like Sheep by, I think it's A Perfect Circle, and Sail by AWOL Nation. I like tons of songs, but those three. Oh, and Heavy by Florence and the Machine. Like, if you play them, I'm happy. In The Weekend, they're good, and the Black Keys, I like them too. What's your favorite pole dance move? That's the flying body spiral. What pole move is your nemesis? That would be any pole move that requires you to do a split, because right now I still haven't learned how to do a split, and that's like half the pole dance moves. If you have to classify your dance style, what would it be? I don't know what the different classifications are. I am sometimes a sensual dancer, which means that my movement is very slow, intentional, and present, and that I'm intentional about what I wear and the fabrics and the way that I touch the pole and the way I transition on the floor from one move to the next. And then other times my movement is very sexual, very sex kitten, very siren, very oomph filled. And then there are times when my dancing is more emotional, more vulnerable, more raw and exposed. So it depends on the day. So what inspires my movement? Why do I dance? Whatever's going on with me mentally, emotionally, professionally, personally inspires my movement. And why do I dance? I dance because it feels good, because I like it. I'm sorry, I'm looking down a lot because the questions are on my phone, so pardon me for not being completely engaged. Do you study, participate in any other kinds of dancing or other kinds of training? Other dance classes I've taken are Afro-Caribbean, Haitian, Samba, Silks, aerial hoops. As far as other kinds of training, sometimes I take yoga. I've taken Pilates classes. I just took the Spring Tones Pilates class. I did a review on it on my blog. I'm a very active person, so I like doing lots of stuff. How often do you train, dance, or attend classes per week? That depends on my schedule. I started off taking 1 class a week for 2 hours. That moved to 2 classes a week, then 3 classes a week. Then last summer, I was taking I don't even know how many classes, but I was taking 20 to 30 hours of pole a week. Now I take about 1 class every 2 weeks, and then I take some kind of extra practice time that me and friends will set up at a studio or something, and then I have a pole at home so I can also practice whenever I want. Any tips for training? Listen to your body. Don't compare yourself to other people, because there's no point in doing that. Be inspired by other people, but don't be discouraged or be like, oh, I can't do that like her. You'll never dance like anyone else. Your body, even if you have the exact same body type as someone, the way that you move from the inside out is going to be different. You could be twins with someone and you're still not going to dance the same way. So don't compare yourself to other people. Just push yourself beyond what you think your boundaries are, but also give yourself grace and compassion. That's my tips for training. Do you train on both sides when you pole? Why or why not? I predominantly train on my right side because I'm right-handed, and the reason why I did that and didn't learn how to pole dance on both sides was because the studio I went to, they didn't encourage that. There are some studios that do encourage it, and I would encourage it. Since pole dancing for most people, when you start out, is a new thing, even if you're right or left-handed, you could since all the moves are new, you might as well just learn it on both sides anyway. If you're not a full-time poler, how do you balance work and pole, friends and pole, life and pole? How do I balance it? I do what I want. That's how I balance it. Like, if I feel like polling, I poll. And if I don't feel like it, I don't. And if I want to go to 20 classes in a week, I do that. And if I want to just hang out with friends and go eat and edit videos, I do that. Like, I live my life for me. I do whatever I want. So it's not about finding balance. It's just waking up and being like, okay, Sheena, what do you want to do today? Do you want to go to class? Do you want to go on a date? Do you want to take a workshop on photography? Do you want to work on a new project? What do you feel like doing? And whatever the answer to that is, I do. You know, the difference for me is that I'm not married. I don't have kids. You know, if I do have work, like a paid client or a job I'm doing that has a set schedule, then, you know, I have to do that. But once it's about my free time, I don't have all these other obligations and expectations I have to live up to. I live by myself, so it's not like I have a roommate and the pole is in her way. It's my space, my life. I do what I want. That's how I find the balance. Whatever feels good, I move towards it. Is pole dancing, which happens to be a hobby for most, worth the investment? Pole dancing is definitely a hobby and a lifestyle for me. It's a lifestyle because in addition to dancing, I also have a pole dance blog. I write for pole websites, and I stage manage pole dance events, and I film and photograph polers. So it's a huge part of my life. Is it worth the investment? Yes. As a student studying pole dancing over the past 3 years, I've dropped probably about 15 grand, if not more. It's a lot for a hobby, but it was worth every penny. This is also how I know that people who pole dance are not strippers, because strippers make money and like they get paid to dance, and pole dancers pay in order to dance. And there is a huge difference, meaning the strippers win. Why did you start a pole dance blog? Well, I already have 5 blogs on my website, and once I started polling, because it was so different, I was writing every week about each class, and it started to like dominate my my main blog. And my main blogs are broken down. Like, I have a food blog, I have an art blog, I have a sustainability blog, and something else I'm forgetting. So, and then I have this like everyday life blog that's about empowerment and personal growth and, you know, relationships and stuff. But like every other post was about pole dancing. So I just decided pole dancing at that point needed its own blog because I was talking about it so much. What does your pole dance blog mainly focus on? Pole dancing. And also, because the pole studio I mainly go to, they teach a lot of freestyle movement, and that ends up dealing a lot with, like, they give assignments and homework, and there are themes, and you're telling stories. Each week I would write about those different stories or characters I would create as I was pole dancing. So my pole blog would focused on the curriculum and how that was affecting me, that kind of stuff. What's your favorite post on your pole dance blog? I don't know. I have this one called How Do You, like, bringing your inner vixen to the boardroom. A lot of girls talk about how pole dancing makes them more confident and, you know, more, they get a little oomph in their attitude. And I want to figure out, how can I take that feeling that I get when I dance and transfer it into the rest of my life without, not saying how do I pole dance everywhere, but that emotional confidence that I get, how do I bring that everywhere else? So I wrote this blog post called Bringing Your Inner Vixen to the Boardroom. But I have a lot of posts that I like. What's your favorite non-pole blog? Kelly Ray Roberts, she's my favorite artist. I read her blog all the time. What is your favorite dance studio? Right now, I do not have a favorite dance studio. They are all kind of pissing me off right now. They are not pissing me off. I'm letting myself be pissed off. But no favorite pole dance studio right now. If you teach, why did you start teaching? Which I don't. If you don't teach, do you think you'll ever want to teach? Why or why not? I think at some point I would want to teach, because I think I'm really good at training and teaching people anyway. When I worked in the hospitality industry, I was a training manager. When I worked on Wall Street, I trained a lot of the admins, from the executive assistants to receptionists to the temps to facilities assistants. I'm really good at teaching, and I like pole dancing. And I don't think they go hand in hand. Just because you like something doesn't mean that you're actually good at teaching it. And I'm actually a really good teacher, so I would want to teach pole at some point. Heels or no heels? Any good recommendations for heels? Yes to heels. I prefer dancing in them because I like the way that I feel in them. Some moves become easier. It actually gives you more grip to climb and invert. It's sexy. It's actually easier for me to point my toes in heels. Any good recommendations? I like pleaser heels. Yeah. What are your favorite pole clothes? I just like clothes that are, I don't have a favorite. If it's black, white, sequins, I like booty shorts. Sometimes I like tutus, I like strings, I like body binds, whatever. Like, it depends on the type of dancing that I'm doing that's going to influence what I'm wearing. What's your favorite pose? Size, material, height, static, spin. I like the 45 millimeters. I like static, but I would like to learn spin. If you've ever performed, how do you usually prepare your performance? A lot of practice. And I also just wrote a post recently on how to choreograph for a pole performance. So what's something you love to do or experience aside from pole dancing? I love to take photos and videos. I like to vlog and write, and I like eating popsicles and hosting events, and I like dating. I like lots of things. How has pole dancing affected your life? It changed my life. And to see how it changed it from the very first class up until now, go back and read my pole dance blog, because I've chronicled my entire evolution since I took that class. Looking back at your life, are you surprised that you're a pole dancer? Like, were you a nun 5 years ago and now you're a pole teacher? Or does pole dancing seem like a natural fit into the progression of your life? I was raised in a religious family, and it was actually funny. On Facebook recently, I was talking about how I used to be on the praise dance team at church, which is kind of like modern dance for Jesus. And I was like, I went from praise dance to pole dance, but it's not as a form of rebellion against, my childhood or anything. Even though I was a very devout religious person, the other thing is that I've also always been a very sensual person, a very artistic, creative, and expressive person. And I've always danced. And so it actually fits with the natural progression of my life. But it's more fun to say I went from praise dancing to pole dancing. What's one pole stereotype that you wish would go away? Stereotypical how pole dancers defend pole dancing. And I wish that they'd come up with better ways to talk about pole dancing than the ways that they separate it. Like, oh, I'm a pole dancer, not a stripper. I'm a pole fitness, not pole dancing. I'm okay with it being sensual, but not raunchy. Like, we just need some better PR and marketing for how we talk about pole dancing. And that's a stereotype that I wish would go away. Best reaction when you told someone that you are a pole dancer. It's not, I don't have a best one. I have a worse one. I usually tell guys on the first date that I'm a pole dancer because it's a great way to filter them. Like, if they're like, oh my God, that's horrible, then I can tell that they're too conservative for me. Or if I tell them and they're like, oh, you gonna dance for me, then I'm like, yeah, they're not for me because they don't understand it. But even if they're just like, oh, can you tell me more about it? Or even if they say, I only really know pole dancing in the context of stripping, that's fine. I can deal with that. But the worst one that I got, this guy found out that I pole dance. So then that next day after the date, he sent me an email with a list of 10 songs that he wanted me to dance to. And they were all these like African Hulu, Zulu warrior, drumming, bone in your nose kind of songs. And I was just like, I don't even dance to shit like that. Like, what the fuck? It was just weird. Also, since it's May, does your mother know that you pole dance, and what does she think? Yes, my mom knows that I pole dance. What does she think? She wants me to teach her to pole dance, and I won't, because there's such a thing as boundaries. What is your pole fantasy or dream? I want my own pole place, like not just a pole studio, but where there's like it's like a pole place where there are classes and there's performances and just the building with a whole bunch of poles, and we can do whatever the hell we want on any given day. Finish this sentence. Pole dancing is everything. It is amazing. It's my favorite thing. It is something that you're definitely missing out on if you've never done it before. And those are the answers to my questions. Bye, everyone. You may also hear my neighbors at times too. You hear him? He's saying to lock the door. Okay. Anywho, the screensaver on my phone is cray-cray, sexual and overt. Oh, hold on, I'm getting a call. Hello? What spot?
That we got last time.
The Thai place? Sure. No. Let's go there because I want the basil fried rice. Sorry. Hold on again. Hello? Hi. Because it sometimes can take like 45 minutes to an hour for it to come.
You want to order it now?
Yeah. Do you know what you want me to order you? I remember you got like chicken wings and I don't know if it was the beef basil fried rice.
Yeah.
Just whatever you want. Okay, I promise that's the last call. Oh my God, this is gonna be on the film.